Tammy Davis. Thank you very much for joining me today. My nose is itchy. I've recently made the commitment since shifting over to Q&A with Mother Nature is I really want to produce content every single day. Generally, it's going to be in various formats. It could be a podcast, it could be a video, could be in written form on the website or even on the Facebook group. And today I'm doing a video, and I realize that I've kind of uploaded a few videos within the last week, but this one seems to be kind of important because I had a consult a little while ago that it just kind of left me reeling for a little bit. And I thought, well, I'll sit here and talk with you about it because I did follow up with some written information after speaking with this individual. This is an Amish person. If you're new to my channel, I do work an awful lot with Amish people, and they work by phone and mail and letter. So in this case, I sat down and wrote an extensive letter to her because she has a lot of questions and they don't get email. And even though I did discuss things with them on the phone, it's very helpful always to have something in writing. And this is why I like having the different places to be able to interact. So on that note, in her case, she started with a few, she started with an oil blend a few weeks ago. And the complaint was blood sugar issues, fatigue, slow bowels, insomnia, and so forth. And if you're getting to know me or if you're not familiar with me, my approach is not just compartmentalized, where we just deal with the thyroid or the adrenal or the pancreas. I mean, truthfully, just those three glands alone represent a part of the endocrine system. So the better way to go about this is to address the entire hormonal system. At the same time, you want to kind of make things a little bit more balanced. And this young woman had actually asked her mother to contact me because she was feeling depressed. She has a young man that she would like to start dating, and he would like to date her, but she's very, very apprehensive. So there's a degree of anxiety involved. So I took all of this into consideration. The family is very inundated with health professionals. What I know, having been up in the Lancaster area and Pennsylvania, riding around and working with them specifically, I've come to realize that there's a lot of clinicians up in that area that they will go to. Some of them are of Amish birth, other ones are non-Amish professionals, but they have so much at their fingertips that they will take as much as possible, and they will do as much as possible. And this is why I'm doing this video, is because this is the second case. Well, it's interesting. Our typical go-to is if something isn't working or we don't like what we're feeling, we'll stop. And so I had a call last night with somebody else who has an 8-year-old who ended up with an impacted bowel, and that is the reason why I did the digestive blend. The digestive video not too long ago, but I did do a digestive blend for this young girl, and they were saying that it hadn't done any. Even in a couple of weeks that they'd been using it, she was in excruciating pain, and they took her to the hospital. Well, let me tell you something. If that impacted bowel had been backing up for a while, and no amount of essential oil is going to move that fast enough to relieve that pain. So the treatment that she received, basically, which was they did an ultrasound and then put her on laxatives, did the trick. Now the interesting thing is, after the laxatives, I had left a message because the mother had notified me, and I had told her how to change the way she uses the oil blend. And when she did, the little girl actually stopped feeling pain. I mean, yes, her bowels are moving, but that's because, what they did do the laxatives, and, things continue to move, but the pain is gone. And even though she was taking the laxative, she was still having pain, but now subsequently increasing the way she was, or changing the way she used the oils, made a difference in the pain and actually eliminated the pain. Because I told her the blend that I produced for her was good for nearly any kind of digestive upset, not just nausea, but I'm talking constipation, diarrhea, spastic colon, IBS basically. So, I mean, it was good for a lot of different reasons in that regard, as well as a great anti-inflammatory. So she just needed to change the way she used it, and she got results. And the interesting thing is, when I spoke with her last night, that's the thing she said to me. She said, I didn't think the oils were doing anything, but when I changed it, they did. And then with this girl today, it was, she had all these complaints when I first started with her. So we put her on the oil blend, and well, basically her symptoms have gotten worse. And this is what threw me into a tailspin. Pardon me. And I can get really discouraged. I mean, excuse me. I have no idea what that was, but I'm good now. At any rate, she was feeling discouraged. I was feeling discouraged because here, she had asked her mother to get a hold of me, and she's feeling increasingly worse. And it was just hard for me to hear because, well, I had designed this blend for the exact reasons that she had mentioned. I mean, and yes, we're talking like symptom relief, but like I said, if you're dealing with symptom relief or you're dealing with fatigue, that tells me a couple of things. It tells me highly stressed system, tells me overactive immune system, because, and it also tells me hormonal system. Excuse me. I'm really very sorry. And if I was better at editing this, you wouldn't have even seen that. Anyway, so these are the things that I'm hearing. Blood sugar is definitely, that's hormonal. It's all stress related, truthfully. And like I said, when I hear fatigue, chronic fatigue is often related to autoimmune. It's also related to low iron. And low iron is interesting. Iron is actually regulated by a hormone that there's a specific hormone that is used in the release of iron. However, when the macrophages of the immune system are activated, and they will actually inhibit the release of iron. So now you've got an immune system that's kind of like supercharged, and it's depleting, it's denying the release of iron. So now you have a different type of fatigue. So, and maybe it's not even, I shouldn't say a different type of fatigue, but it all becomes related. And then, and then there's the use of, I mean, it just gets to be, right now I'm trying to talk my process. So these are the things that I hear. And so that's basically what I did. So yes, do I want to help with blood sugar? Of course I do. Do I want to help with energy? Of course I do. Do I want to help move the bowels? You better believe I do. And when I hear that she uses it and everything, kind of like she feels like her whole body is seizing up. So I took a look at it, and I had put the oil in aloe. Aloe is a great carrier. It's a carrier that it's a great delivery system. With all the nanotechnology we have available to us today and all of the products that are out there, if you mix your essential oils with aloe, you're going to increase the delivery rate of those oils. And that's what I did with this young girl. And what ended up happening is she was diagnosed with Lyme at some point in her life. And now that already tells me super active immune system. So with the addition of the oils being, what I'm getting at is her body is super sensitive. It's super, super sensitive, and it's increasingly stressed as a result of the environment, like we've talked about. And so she's not breaking down her carbohydrates and her proteins properly, which is the reason why she's having blood sugar issues. It is also the reason why she's fatigued. It would be another reason for fatigue, because her cells are not getting the nutrients that they need. So again, this is another thing that I factored into the way I designed the blend, which was to assist with the breakdown and the use of amino acids, and to assist with the breakdown of carbohydrates. So I took it down to the cell level in this case, as well as stabilizing the hormonal system, but for her to be feeling like she's gotten worse just kind of really, like I said, set me backwards for a little bit. So I sat there and I wrote everything out to her, and that's the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you, because I really wanted to say that when you get to an essential oil blend and you say, for instance, have been getting advice from me and it's not working, the last thing I want you to do is say, well, that didn't work, and go on to something else, or you picked the wrong oils, or don't doubt the selection, whether I select it or whether you select it. If you actually get to the level of understanding oils, and again, that's what we're talking about in this Synergessence Facebook group, but if you actually get to the understanding of oils and how they can influence various neurochemistry, and you begin to select oils that are more about stabilizing the system. And yes, we are concerned about symptom relief, but you have to consider the overall effects as well. Once you've done that, you can rest assured that the blend you have is the perfect blend for you, regardless of what the books and the websites say, okay? If it came with mindful development, then you've got the perfect blend. How your body reacts, and this is exactly what I told that family from the very beginning. I can only make suggestions, but how one body reacts is going to be it's going to vary. It's going to be very different from other people. And so once we see how the body reacts, then we can go from, we can start to navigate this and begin to make adjustments, just like I did with this other little girl who had the impacted bowel. Everybody's got bowel issues. So in this case, this other little girl, we had to increase the amount. In this other girl's case, she's 18, we had to actually dilute it. We had to dilute it with a carrier because it did have aloe. Yes, I realized it had aloe in it, but we needed to add an oil to it to slow the delivery process down because it was happening too rapidly, and make some dietary adjustments as well. It's interesting because all of this has come up in threes, because then I have another young girl who's 11 who presents with an extraordinary amount of aggression. She's also very reclusive. She has not been tested, but she does demonstrate behaviors that would fall along the lines of the spectrum, and she has to be in a special program. But the bottom line is, I guess her mother's biggest concern was the fact that she can become enraged like that. And well, when I took all of that into consideration, I produced a blend. And I got an email from Mom last night that they put it on her, and within 10 minutes, well, let me back up a minute. So when we were talking about this young girl, and the way she was describing her, and she likes to be by herself. She's very good. She can be socially engaging, but she likes to be by herself. And again, it was primarily the aggression that, and anything can trigger it. It didn't make any difference. So I started asking questions about her sensitivity to sound and light, and Mom admitted that these were things that bothered her. So we now have somebody who is uncomfortable in their skin, so to speak, and demonstrating behaviors that are, again, super sensitive. And what's interesting is, not unlike the 18-year-old girl with the fatigue and so forth, this 11-year-old girl put the oil on once, and that did not have aloe in it, by the way. I was careful because she's only 11. Said it burned. It was burning her skin. So she never wanted to use it again. But where they placed it was where it was easily smelled. And if she's sensitive to sound and light, chances are she's sensitive to smell too. She just may not be aware of it, or she's not able to articulate it as well. Not everybody realizes that's, some people do know that they're sensitive, and other people, if it's just the norm, they don't. If that's just the way their life has been, they could smell something and it bothered them, but they just thought it bothered everybody. I mean, it's hard to differentiate what's normal and what's not when it's been a part of your life for a very long time. And so my guess is that this young girl has been super sensitive to smells, because actually, now that I think about it, Mom did say she did like smells, certain smells, but chances are this particular one, oversensitized her to the point where it felt like it was burning. So again, we had to dilute the blend even more so down to a more of a homeopathic. So that's really the message to all of this. When you're working with oils, don't stop using them because they're not working. Now, again, if you're using them based off of a book or a website and not getting results, well then, to be truthful, I can understand that, because again, the way they are presented, it's as if it's a one size fits all. Like, it's good for this if it works, it's good for this person, it'll do this. And I see people reading books and getting online, and they see that these oils are good for these different conditions and they're using them. That's not the way you select an oil. So if you have mindfully designed something, because you know how these plant constituents are going to influence the chemistry in your system, and you have an objective view of what's going on with you, and you can design something again that works within that context, you can now trust the fact that you have a blend that's perfect for you. And if you're not getting the results, feel free to contact me. Tammy at synergessence.com. I'm happy to guide you. There may be some, it may be that you have to increase the amount that you use it. You may have to take it more at a homeopathic level. What your body needs is going to be determined by the way it responds. And when we live in this body, oftentimes it's really, really difficult to determine what's best for us because, well, we're emotionally attached to it. And oftentimes we're going more for symptom relief. So to have a second set of eyes and ears that can, kind of read between the lines and hear what's really going on, to provide you a little bit of guidance, there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's the reason why I'm inviting you to a couple, different places so that I'd be happy to do that for you. Because the whole idea here is to get the best results out of the essential oils. They are dynamic. They are profoundly dynamic when it comes to health and restoring and resetting the system. But you got to know how to use them, is all I'm saying. But whatever you do, don't give up. And if you did do something based off of what a book or a website said and you didn't like what happened, don't give up. We can figure it out. We just need to maybe pick something else out for you. And we may, so there's a whole other path that we can go down there. But the bottom line is that in this case today, I was just mortified that this person just had such a setback, because just talking with her, it was just harder for me to hear. I just don't want to hear people going backwards. And but we were able to come to a really good understanding as to what was happening with the system, and so guided her. She's happy, I'm happy, and so now I share this with you. So anyway, join me, like I said, Instagram or Twitter at TammyDavis8. Come over to synergessence.com if you'd like, and feel free to submit your questions to me there about your personal issues or personal concerns, however you want to say it. And you'll get a password to be able to join in on the conversation over there. Follow me and my podcast. Submit your questions again, Tammy at synergessence.com, with regards to maybe more of a generalized question, not so specific. And then if you'd like to know more about the oils, there is a Facebook group too. But thank you very much for being a part of this community. And please share it. Let's get, I want to be able to build this community so that we get to this level of understanding that the body's actually working with us. It's actually working with us. It's working for us. It's actually working. It's not stopping. And again, this is one of the things I had to emphasize with this family today, that primarily most people, when they work with the body, they're compartmentalizing it and they're coming at it from the perspective that something's wrong and it's dysfunctional and it's defective and so forth. And I'm here to tell you it's not dysfunctional and it's not defective. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a podcast right after this with regards to what the heck are genetic adaptations anyway, because they're not defects. I'm just going to say that right here. They're not defects. And if you would like to know my perspective on genetic adaptations, join me over there on the podcast. But like I said, the whole idea here is to understand that our system is actually working for us, and it is going to send us the messages. We just have to know how to respond. We have to know how to dance with it. And when we learn how to dance with it, then we get the best results. We get the optimal health that we want. We can restore our health and wellness to to a quality that we can enjoy. So I look forward to interacting with you, and I appreciate you watching, and have a blessed day wherever you are.